brought us to this heritage, promotion of our heritage.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV, and you can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204447033. As well, you can join us on YouTube as you stream there live on CityTube. Ni Larte, you are welcome.
Thank you, Philip, for having me this morning.
We are celebrating our 66 years, Ghana, Independence Day.
I'm just expecting the question you are coming to ask me, whether there is something for us to
I'll
celebrate.
ask you that question. But first, let's go to the voter region in Adaklo. That is where President Akufo-Addo and a number of Ghanaians celebrated the Independence Day. Well, the president has pledged to revive the economy. Let's bring you that insight.
President Akufo-Addo has pledged to revive the economy. Addressing this year's 66th Independence Day celebration held at the Volta Regional Youth Resource Center in Adaklo, Nana Akufo-Addo says the unity and strength of the country must infuse constant desire to seek for the progress of Ghana regardless of the current economic crisis. We have more on this report filed by our Volta Regional Correspondent Desmond Selassie Ago.
The 66th Independence Day celebrations of Ghana, which was held at the Volta Regional Youth Resource Center in Adaklu, saw a large crowd of people drawn from all walks of life to partake in the historic event. The national parade, which used to be held at the Black Star Square, with similar parades across the country in the regional and district capitals, has since 2019 been rotating around regional capitals. The northern regional capital, Tamale, was the first regional capital to host the National Independence Parade, which was held at the Aliyu Mahama Sports Stadium in Tamale. This year's celebration, which was held in the Volta region, was under the theme Our Unity, Our Strength, Our Purpose, focusing on the unity enjoyed by all tribes in building a better Ghana. Addressing the gathering, President Akufo-Addo said the independence of Ghana should imbue the desire to seek for the progress of the country despite the current economic crisis. He said the constant desire to unite the country will bring the upliftments the Ghanaians deserve.
The Fourth Republic represents the longest period of stable constitutional governance in our history. We should be united in the goal of protecting it, for it is only its free democratic form of governance and the intelligent management of the economy that will bring the upliftment that Ghanaians want and deserve. We should continue to strive to ensure that no Ghanaian child is denied access to quality education, hence the groundbreaking and transformative free SHS policy.
President Akufo-Addo also noted that his administration is working hard in finding solutions to the current economic situation of the country. He said his administration will ensure the transformation of the economy of the country to a value-added one.
Fellow Ghanaians, I'm very much aware of the current difficulties confronting our nation, and we are working hard to resolve them. But maybe we should also count our blessings in how together we are managing the difficulties. We all see the images around the world. Here in Ghana, we have not had any fuel queues. We have not suffered shortages of food and essential items, or the catastrophe of Dubuson. Undoubtedly, major global developments have had a negative impact on our domestic economic performance. We have witnessed historic highs in global inflation and food prices, rising global interest rates triggered by tightening of monetary policy of central banks across several advanced economies, to highs at one point.
Patrons of this year's 66th Independence Day celebration expressed their satisfaction of the event to City News. According to them, the rotation of the Independence Day celebration is a good cause, but want developmental works to be done, not only when such occasions are approaching. Some also want attention to be given to problems of the country during the Independence Day celebrations.
Independence Day kemi dule fiebia mapogede tepe vai akei ke tepe mapogua edo dzidzɔ na ma le gbegbe enye nu yi ke míaƒe te mía de dzesi be míaƒe dukplɔla etsɔ ɖe le Volta region kple aɖaklu ƒe enyame enye nye ŋutɔ la aɖaklu fiawo dometɔ ɖeka menye metso aɖaklu goeƒe tɔgbe sesraku aɖaklu etsa aɖaklu ƒe ŋkɔa mede edziwo gake eyi ke nana aɖodan Akufo Addo va ezidia ewɔ be míawo ti míaƒe ŋkɔ nyɔ eye wòva tsu enu gã ya ɖe míaƒe anyigba dzi nyateƒe ewɔ be ame geɖe yiwo ke mese aɖaklu ŋkɔ kpɔ eye ame yiwo ke se ŋkɔ tsã gake womenya aɖaklua wova nya aɖaklu.
Our roads, most of our roads are very, very, very bad. We want them to come. You could see that when they were coming in, that was when they did some patches along the roads. It shouldn't be like that. We should also face major development, not only when events are being organized. The 65th Independence Day celebrations here at Adaklu, the Youth Resource Center, is over. Some patrons have expressed their satisfaction with the program, but say developmental projects shouldn't be delayed until events such as this before government completes them. Meanwhile, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, says his government is working hard to ensure the economy of the country bounces back. Reporting for City News from the Youth Resource Center here at Adaklu in the Volta region.
So the big question is, 66 years, do we have something to celebrate? You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204447033 and tell us what exactly we should celebrate. 66 years, if we are human beings, all the nation is a human, should be on retirement by now. Yeah. Do you have something to celebrate?
I think to a larger extent, there are some of the things we can also pinpoint and say that, well, we've come far as a country. But the bigger question, like you put it, yesterday I was pretty much sad when I heard a lot of, politicians, economists, civil society organizations, former leaders of the country, former Chief Justice, former President John Dramani Mahama, all saying that the time has come for us to put an end to the celebration of Independence Day as a country. We'll come to that. But I remember when basic school, they would tell you that Ghana is the gateway to Africa, just because Ghana was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence. So people will expect that 66 years on, there will be a lot in terms of our development, socio-economic progress, industrialization, productivity, but a lot leaves much to be desired, in the sense that we've not been able to be self-reliant, at least 100%. You know that independence is just to free yourself from colonial rule and your masters, so that you are able to manage your own affairs, just as former President Kwame Nkrumah put it, the black
66 years ago, when he said that a black man is capable of managing his or her affairs.
And so, Philip, yesterday you got to hear a lot of people. I remember when they said they were rotating the celebration of independence, a lot of people actually hailed that particular initiative. People said it was good, so that we don't have a centralization of the celebration in Accra. It's been to Cape Coast, it's been to Tamale. It was the turn of the Volta region yesterday. Yeah. And funny enough, a lot of people said no, given our current economic situation, there was no need to celebrate independence in such a manner. Why not use those? And in fact, even aside from the fact that the centralization was stopped and then it's now moving, we can still see that in some parts of the celebrating. We were thinking that once the rotation is done, we will just have one celebration at one place and then we'll leave it at that. But yesterday, it was pretty much surprising to see a lot of people say that, given our current economic situation, there was no need putting money down the drain in celebrating in such a manner.
I think with this, I will side with the former CJ, Sophia Ekufo. She indicated that the funds that are being channeled into the celebration should be used for a project that every year, so if that is being used for 66 years, every year we have a project that we can point at, that the funds that we are going to use for the celebration is used for this. We should have like 66 projects by now. And also, former President John Dramani Mahama also indicated that if we are celebrating 66 years and we don't even have vaccines measles. And now the stakeholders in the sector, that is the health sector, are complaining about the fact that the inadequate or the shortage of vaccine can create some chaos.
Exactly so, and it really brings back the question of whether we have been able to manage our affairs, because 66 years down the line, we're struggling with our economy, we're struggling with vaccine, we are relying heavily on, you know, foreign support, donor support and all that. I mean, and funny enough, Professor Godfrey Bokpin from the University of Ghana Business School yesterday on City Prime News made a very fantastic point. He was saying that until we gain independence from corruption and nepotism that have ingrained our society, there is no way. And he was even making reference to the number of times we have gone to the International Monetary Fund as a country to seek for, you know, bailouts. And some of these institutions are formed to provide support to African countries such as Ghana. And if you are ability to manage our own affairs, then the sugar factory, for example, the Polugu tomato factory, for example, all of these things have not been able to generate the necessary, you know, agricultural produce that we need, and even give us the revenue that we need as a country. And so for me, 66, I remember Ghana at 50. What wasn't said? A lot of, you know, promises that by the time we are 60, 5 years later, we'll be able to, you know, I mean,
I think the talk is too much. The action should follow.
For President Akufo-Addo, for example, to say yesterday that, oh, there is hope coming, he's aware of the economic difficulties. I mean, we've heard this time without number. And of course, you don't expect the president to say something else at such an event. You only expect him to bring some hope to Ghanaians. But I mean, at a time that a country has subjected its citizens to, you know, haircuts, debt exchange, high cost of living, high standards of living, high increases in the price of petroleum products, transportation fares,
unemployment rate increasing.
I mean,
it looks like we have a lot to talk about here when it comes to this particular issue. But then the President Akufo-Addo, will tomorrow deliver his State of the Nation address. We are hoping to find a lot of things in there that tells us that 66 years of independence, we've come far. Well, let's go away from the Volta region. Let's go to other parts of the country that celebrated the Independence Day.
On the 66th independence celebrations and the relevance of the annual events have been called into question. In the Ashanti region, for instance, some residents believe the poor development in the region does not merit any celebrations. Our Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo, reports.
For many inhabitants in Kumasi, it is the feeling of disappointment that engulfs them whenever their thoughts about independence comes into mind. They say the country's level of development is way below their expectation. They want government to prioritize the development of the country to put it at par with other advanced states.
I know most people are disappointed.
But you personally, are you?
Personally, I'm disappointed because this is not what we hoped for. We believe that by now we should have been somewhere. And just like the other countries who had independence at the same day, we keep mentioning names. This country, we had independence before them. This country, we had independence before them. We are only taking credit for leading independence, but we are not taking credit for leading development in the colonized world. So I believe as we celebrate, we begin to reflect on our expectation before independence and then work hard to get what we thought we'd be able to achieve.
Some of us are of the opinion that the monies or whatever that we use to celebrate our independence should be channeled to other things, because there's so much waste in the system. We think that schools are lacking infrastructure, furniture and other things. So if we use those monies to provide our kids with these things, it will be more better than what we are doing today.
I think the leaders of this country should focus more on the youth, because you finish school and you will not get any employment to do, and all you see around is people celebrating independence. What are we going to, as the youth, what are we celebrating? What do you have to fight for your country that they have to celebrate you? That's what I think the government of Ghana should really take into consideration in terms of celebration day 66th Independence Day celebration.
Many residents in the Ashanti region in particular have been reiterating the need for the area to be given the needed attention by government. With government yet to commence the construction of the Swami Interchange project, for instance, the residents accuse government of neglect, as they wanted to consider the development of the region as a major priority. However, speaking at this year's Independence Day celebration in the Ashanti region, the regional minister, Samuel Semensa, says the area has received its fair share of the national cake.
Irrespective of the economic challenges in the country, the Ashanti region has received an appreciable number of development projects since 2017. There are several legacy projects in the region, including but not limited to the Kumasi International Airport, the Buankra Inland Port, TVET, STEM, and the Creative Arts Schools, health facilities, the residential accommodation complex for appeals court judges, which is the first in its kind in this country, and other court buildings. Paramedics training school, the greenhouse village, the local government training school. Take this opportunity to encourage all the MMDCs, members of parliament of the region, and all other government appointees to actively monitor these projects to their ultimate completion for the people to enjoy the full benefits of them.
Some residents in Kumasi are of the view that once government comes up with a lot of developmental projects and also focuses on developing the country to the extent that it's at par with other parts of the world, they'll be proud of it, and celebrating Independence Day will be something that they will cherish. For City News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Edum, Kumasi.
And in the Greater Accra region, its regional minister Henry Quartey led a central celebration in Tema and reiterated calls for national unity.
Earlier today, Tema played host to the centralized regional celebration of the 66th Independence Day celebration of the Greater Accra region. The colorful celebration, characterized by a parade led by Lieutenant Commodore George Akwa of the Ghana Navy, drew 8 contingents from the security services and 29 contingents from both the basic and secondary schools from the various MMDAs. In his address, the Greater Accra regional minister Henry Quartey called for a strengthened determination to build a better Ghana.
The nation sounded the liberation and independence for several African countries their freedom. We therefore celebrate today that the Black Star is still a shining star to the world and continues to take leadership roles in several spheres of life. The theme for this year's anniversary celebration, which is, in quotes, and that purpose and determination to move the country forward.
On issues bordering on a clean urbanized region, Henry Quartey indicated that a directive has been given to the MMDAs in Tema and its environs to enforce the bylaws to the latter.
I have therefore, with the permission of His Excellency the President, directed the Mayor of Tema, the Municipal Chief Executives of Tema West, and the Chairman and all the other Metropolitan, Municipal, District Chief Executives to enforce to the letter the sanitation bylaws as well as the Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaws, which they have promulgated. The bylaws require all individuals and organizations to clean their immediate surroundings and their inner perimeters to the middle of the road. Nime, Should we all do same and take responsibility of our immediate surroundings, we can clear Greater Accra region of filth and make Accra work.
From Tema, reporting for City News, I am Emmanuel Opon.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has called on Ghanaians to ignore tribal differences and work together for a prosperous nation as the country marks 66 years of independence. The Speaker made the call when he commiserated with a former Speaker, Professor Michael Quay, who has lost his wife. 88-year-old Major retired Alberta Okwe died on Saturday morning after battling illness for a while. Speaker Alban Bagbin, in the company of former Speakers Edward Dowajaho and Justice Banfo Addo, and the minority leader, called for unity among Ghanaians while he promised Parliament support to the Okwe family.
After falling ill for a while, wife of Professor Michael Okwe, Major retired Alberta Okwe, has died. The 88-year-old passed on March 4, 2023 at her residence at Hacho. As is done in many Ghanaian cultures, loved ones have been trooping the residence of the former Speaker of Parliament to commiserate with him and his family. On Monday, March 6, as Ghana celebrated 66 years of independence, current Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, joined previous speakers Edward Dowajaho and Justice Joyce Banford Addo to sign the Book of Condolence and show support to their bereaved colleague. The Speaker took the opportunity to call for unity of purpose amongst Ghanaians.
We want to assure you that the whole Parliament will be with you. We will together not mourn, I would think celebrate the life of our dear one. This is not the time to be mourning. I think this is the time for us to celebrate the lives of people so that the young ones can emulate.
So the Speaker of Parliament has asked that there should be unity as we celebrate our 60th regional minister also said same, and also the Ashanti regional minister Samuel Asay Mensah also said same as compared in terms of unity. But like we are saying, when the stories were played, we saw other residents or citizens of the country talking about deplorable roads, lack of infrastructure at various schools, among others, that at least 66 years as of now, some of these problems should be resolved.
And that was actually very dominant in the Ashanti region, for example. And if you remember clearly, the Ashanti region for the last couple of years has been very vocal when it comes to these things. And even aside from the fact that it happens to be the vote basket of the governing New Patriotic Party, they have been very, very vocal when it comes to some development issues they think they have been deprived of. And key amongst them has been the issue of deplorable roads. Yes. You remember that protest in Swami, where the Member of Parliament for the area, who happens to be the majority leader, Chairman Sabonsu, was actually giving a tough time. And so for me, if a region that actually happens to be the vote basket of this current government will say that it is time for them to also have their fair share of the national cake, then it sends really strong signals to the government that indeed more needs to be done generally, not only in that particular region. And if you listen to all the ministers, they actually admit the fact that despite the current economic situation, despite the present economic challenges, despite all these things, but in fact, governance and democracy both are for the people. And so if the people feel as if, no, you have not been able to receive what is due us, I mean, it is time you put some real, action to the words and not just leave it at the
I think this also has to do with the government, not one particular government, maybe the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government, but John Dramani Mahama administration to Professor Evans Mills' situation to same. We had that of former President Kufuor same, and John Drama Jerry John Rawlings also same. And if you, as of last week or last 2 weeks, when Sophia Kufuor also granted some interview, she said that she's disappointed in all the government in this
ensure that the National Development Planning Commission is strengthened to ensure that it drives
the more we get to pay more, because these projects are quoted in foreign currencies and the cedi is depreciating. The more the cedi depreciates, the more we are supposed to pay the individuals that are supposed to put
also
up these
address
projects.
pertinent issues. They are usually health related, education
Look at
related, health related, education related, agriculture related, industrialization, and these are the pivot by which our development will evolve as a country. And so for me, this idea of NPP begins a project, NDC does not want to complete it, and vice versa, it is not helping us.
Well, we have a lot more to talk about this. When you say 66 years, it means that there are lots more that governments have to do. It looks like little is being done. We still sit here and talk about 66 years. What do we have to show? We need of roads. Governments have said it time without number. Let's go to Kintampo. An issue happening there, that is 23 lives were lost as a result of some issues on the road. It has to be dualized, or maybe drivers aren't taking care of themselves on the stretch and all that. 23 lives were lost. Let's bring you that story from Kintampo.
Lorry accident has claimed the lives of 23 persons between Kintampo and Babatokoma in the Kintampo North municipality of the Bono East region. The injured persons are currently receiving treatment at the Kintampo Municipal Hospital. City News' Michael Sapon Infum reports.
The Yendi Kumasi bound bus with registration number AS 4635-22, which had 52 passengers aboard, crashed with a trailer truck with registration number GW 1127P carrying tiles. The truck driver tried to swerve a stationary truck, which resulted in head-on collision, resulting in the death of 22 persons on the spot, with one dying at the hospital. The deceased include 18 men, 4 women and 1 child. The injured persons were rushed to the Kintampo Municipal Hospital and are currently receiving treatment. The Bono East Regional Minister, Kwesi Adujan, visited the accident scene and spoke to the media.
This is about the third time. The first time. World. TMC appeal to the Minister of Health and said, as long as this road, the whole of the country, this road, especially from Ufis Abiponosoba, it's a death trap for drivers. So one of the things, accidents may happen, but if accidents happen, I the necessary tools, give it to me a boa, because NSA is about conflict. Because they were not able to provide the critical care doing here. And we have 6 also here critical attention.
The Member of Parliament for Kintampo North constituency, Joseph Kamikuma, is calling for the station of a towing vehicle to tow broken down vehicles, which always cause accidents on the Kintampo highway. He also called for improved road markings on the Kintampo stretch to reduce road accidents.
In fact, I will take this opportunity to ask that the state does an urgent visit to Kintampo to appreciate what it is. I know the regional minister has been there, the MC, the security, everybody has been on the ground. The security, fire, national Larte with 4 bus and a lot of casualties. People were bent along the Kintampo Techuma highway before. The accidents are so high, but this stretch that this has happened, it has always claimed a lot of lives. And what I'll propose is that first, we should have reflective road markings as a temporary measure. So the additional issue is that we need to have a standby towing car along that stretch of the road, and many other accident-prone areas, especially like the Cape Coast 1-2, because normally I know Cape Coast between that of Cape Coast and Kintampo is always competing when accidents happen.
Now, authorities at the Cape Coast Technical University are worried that the school is only able to accommodate over 300 students on campus out of the over 4,000 students it currently has.
Story of the Cape Coast Technical University shortly, but let's talk about the issue that happened at Kintampo. And what we understand is 19 persons who were involved in that road crash as is asking that some towing trucks should be placed along the stretch so that as soon as there is a vehicle that is broken down on the stretch, it can be towed. But this is not the first time we are asking for the towing levy or the towing tracks. I think government brought this thing in. We had a lot of people kick against it, and now this is what is happening. I spoke to Engineer Mahama yesterday, and he said that it's very laudable that at least government will reintroduce the towing levy, because it's something that is going to save a lot of lives. We find a lot of tracks broken down on major highways, and if nothing is done about it, this is going to be the end result.
And the dynamics as far as road crashes along our major highways are concerned is actually the fact that either the roads are bad, there is some stationary vehicle, human error on the part of the driver, or even the bad nature of the roads. And all these factors have culminated into the number of crashes you have been recording. And for me, the Kintampo one, we want to commensurate with the family of those who have lost their lives.
But it's avoidable.
It's avoidable, and even it doesn't even bode well for the tourism bit of the area, because you know it's the center of Ghana. There is also a waterfall there, and then if you are recording a lot of accidents there, what signal are we sending to people who want to visit the town and also ensure that they enjoy this kind of touristic, scenery over there? And yesterday when I spoke to the DCE on Eyewitness News, and I was even asking about the whereabouts of the driver of this particular stationary vehicle that is said to have led to this particular, he was nowhere to be found. Nobody knows the owner of the truck. It is just there, and then the person has abandoned it, and the driver just wants to overtake it, and then only for it to lead in run into another truck for this collision to happen. So it's a really sad one. 23 lives lost, plus also sustaining various degrees of injuries. And so the advocacy, as we have always been saying, is that drivers should also be on the lookout. And if you are a passenger in a vehicle and you think that the driver is driving recklessly, just draw the attention of the driver. If you see a police barrier, report the driver to the police officers that this driver is driving in a manner that we are not too comfortable with. We've told him and he is not adhering to it. And so it's really sad, because each and every time on our various news platforms, we are recording incidents of road crashes, and the issues are usually the same. And it's good that we are talking about the reintroduction of, the conversation has been right now. A lot of people think that the time has come for us to reconsider these good road safety issues.
Well, so that is it from Kintampo. Dualize most of the highways we have. As drivers, we also have to be very cautious when you're driving on these highways. Let's move away from Kintampo and go to the central region, specifically Cape Coast, where the management of the institution is asking that at least some accommodation should be brought into the institution, because the students are battling with non-residential areas. So let's bring you that insert.
Authorities at the Cape Coast Technical University are worried that the school is only able to accommodate over 300 students on campus. For individuals to attend the school, considering the huge accomplishment deficit. Now, Central Regional Correspondent Carl Sete has more.
According to some students of the Cape Coast Technical University, they have had to struggle with the exorbitant nature of some private hostels around the university campus. This is as a result of the lack of accommodation on campus. The school currently has the capacity to accommodate only 300 students on campus out of the over 4,000 student population it currently has. According to the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Joshua Danso Owusu-Setre, the university currently has no Get Fund hostel facility and will want one from them to support the students. For these students of the university, it is a struggle having to put up with the lack of accommodation on campus. According to them, the danger of...
So the Cape Coast Technical University is asking that at least investors or private individuals or developers should try as well to raise some buildings in the school that will serve as an accommodation area for the students. The same thing is happening in and for that they've been asked to move from the school. The same thing is also happening at the Cape Coast Technical Institution.
In fact, it cuts across all the tertiary educational facilities we have in the country because they are having challenges with accommodation. And this particular one is a really serious one because out of the over 4,000 students, we are made to understand only about 300, which is actually less than 10% of the entire student population. And we want to increase access to education, but in as much as we give admission to a lot of people, what really are the plans to ensure that when these people get in, they are able to secure for themselves, accommodation. And so because of this issue, you realize that a lot of private individuals are also, building facilities around these institutions, charging exorbitantly high prices to the detriment of people who are unable to, afford. And so for me, in as much as management of the institution is actually appealing for support, I also think that they should also try to push for some form of private public partnership, some PPP arrangement, and then see. And so you realize that that's why a lot of people are saying that universities should be given the leverage to, handle their own affairs. But if they are always going back to government for one or two things, it puts them really in a tight corner for them to, take their own decisions. So you realize that in some institutions, they are doing in, out. Others are also saying just for first year. So it's a really serious one, especially because we are pushing for, technical education, because we say that it is the way forward as far as, industrialization of the Ghanaian people is concerned. And so for me, management has, realized that this is the challenge they are facing. I think they should go back to the drawing board beyond the appeal for support. What can they do within their own powers?
With these institutions, often you would have Get Fund putting up these structures and would hand it over to the school over time. But when the private developer comes in, it looks the price also becomes very high.
It's because a lot of these institutions do not even want to go in for a build or pay transfer policy. So it depends. So I think that's why they have management. The administration is there in their context. What will work best for them? Are they able to sit down and develop a strategy to solve this accommodation problem once and for all? Because look, if people move in from wherever they are and get to Cape Coast and they do not have even relatives, they do not have, affordable accommodation, how are they able to learn, which is the main reason they've enrolled in the school?
Well, so that is what is coming from the Cape Coast Technical University. If you are a private developer and you would want to help the institution, then this is the opportunity for you. This is still CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. And Heritage Caravan train reaches Paga Crocodile Pond in the Upper East region, where some patrons were elated to see and touch the crocodiles for the first time. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stories.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Ghana, the land of vast minerals and rich natural resources. Ghana, the country with a fine blend of heterogeneous cultural expressions worth celebrating. The month of March is the Heritage Month on City, and we will be celebrating it in grand style with the theme, Make It of all things Ghanaian, and City TV and City FM will be marking it with a month-long celebration of our heritage with a myriad of exciting activities just for you. We will be bringing you the Heritage Month on-air series with a focus on stories that reflect the diversified culture of our people, food, places, and music from the 1st to the 31st of March. Watch out for the Heritage Caravan diaries and moments as we embark on a journey full of fun, education, information, wonderful memories, and great bonding moments with the Heritage Caravan from the 4th to the 11th of March. To crown the Heritage Month celebration, we will treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, middle, and southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity with a Back to Your Village food bazaar from the 25th to the 26th of March 2023. Remember to make it Ghana in this season of the Heritage Month and beyond. The Heritage Month on City is powered by City TV Promotion and Ghana Tourism Authority with support from City FM, and it is sponsored by the National Lotteries Authority.
Is this Nani Flo?
Yes.
What is it with pig feet?
No.
Ghana is a country that's full of historical antecedents and rich cultural heritage. What is a rich cultural heritage without soul food? And what is soul food without a touch of ethnicity? And what is ethnicity if it's not from your village? The season of all things Ghanaian is upon us, and we are here to celebrate an aspect of our Ghanaianness with the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar, happening live from the 25th to the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Come, let's treat ourselves to delectable, authentic Ghanaian cuisine from the northern, the middle, and the southern zones of the country that reflect our true cultural diversity. While at it, we'll be jamming to genuine Ghanaian music amidst games, competitions, storytelling, and so much more. Interested vendors of 973 to book a stand and be part of the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar 2023. Anyamime, the country make hot too. So come, let's enjoy some good food, resounding music, heartfelt camaraderie, and remind ourselves why Ghana is still our home at the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar on the 25th and the 26th of March 2023 at the forecourt of the AMA from 8 a.m. each day. The Back to Your Village Food Bazaar is powered by City TV with support from City FM and is sponsored by Voltic Ghana Limited and Malta Guinness.
From the break, and let's bring you the excitement on the Heritage Caravan. And patrons of the Heritage Caravan spent about 9 hours traveling from the Ashanti region to Bogatanga. Some of the patrons have been sharing their experience.
We'll still stay with the Heritage Caravan and tell you what happened today, Monday. Well, they started that trip in the Ashanti region, went to Tamale, and ended up in Bolgatanga. Have a watch.
And in fact, from Kumasi to Tamale is very far. You know, it's been a long sitting, but very exciting because you can see a lot of change in the environment, change in weather temperature, you know, dry and all that. But it's a mixture of, you know, anxiety and fun, you know.
Have you eaten any local dish so far?
Yeah, I took a preparation at Kumasi, which was very nice. Yeah.
Have you come to this side of the country before?
No. The furthest I've been is Cape Coast. So I've never been further up north.
Coming this far, how will you describe the feeling?
Oh, it's great. It's great to be here, especially in Tamale. I've heard a lot about Tamale, but exceptionally hot. That's the only issue. But I think Tamale is good. It's good, yeah.
What food in Tamale would you love to taste?
Oh, TZ. TZ is the way to go. TZ, yeah.
I want to go check my...
For the Heritage Caravan, let's take you to some of the buses on the caravan and see how members are bonding.
Ago.
Are you ready? I will never leave your... I dedicate my time to you, my guy. Even if the road be rough and cause I did here with my guys. I got plenty for my mind, but right now I'm with my guys. I know they fear them got my back. So you don't see my formation. I call out big combination. Steady inspiration. I'm 100 concentration. When my guys them follow, all the energy far away. I thank God for my beauty. Good friends will be money. Who's your
Pago.
And the excitement is massive. The Caravanites have arrived at Paga, where they are seeing crocodiles there at the Paga Crocodile Pond. Kweku Ediamansa is my colleague from the City Newsroom who is with the Caravanites. Kweku, I think I envy you at this moment. Tell us more about the experience. What is happening there? How are the Caravanites enjoying themselves, especially at Paga?
Well, so it's some sort of fierce amidst excitement because these patrons, before they got here, were hopeful that they can get closer to the crocodiles. These are real crocodiles, and we're currently at the Chief Imam's crocodile pond. We understand there are two of them, but this is one, and the other one is quite bigger in terms of the pond. But currently, you can see most of the Caravanites here. These are members who are on bus 2, and so it means that the bus 1 and bus 3 members have all left the scene at the moment. So not too far from where I am, you'll see some of the patrons taking pictures with the crocodile. That one is quite bigger as compared to the one very close to me. So I'll just get closer to this one, which has come out at the moment. And as you can see, it is stationed on the ground. I mean, I am quite scared, but then I'll try my best. Let me speak to Mommy, who is enjoying the... Okay, yeah, she's daring to get closer to it. You have come very close. Why are you not getting closer to it, touching it well?
It's okay. The distance is okay for me. In case it should turn around, I don't think I can make it.
But you were in high hopes even before we go here. You told me that you were going to touch the tail. Okay, so she's trying to do that. Well.
I've done it.
All right, so she's been able to do that. There are others who are quite closer to the bigger crocodile, and they are taking pictures as well. It's located in Paga. Even before we got here, we paid a courtesy call on the chief of the community, who raised some concerns about giving this particular place a facelift, and also even the Burkina border a facelift. But currently, people are taking pictures. I just want them to share the experience with me. Let me speak to Mama Lydia. Mama Lydia, you've been able to get closer to it. You've touched it. What was the experience like?
It's so interesting. I've enjoyed it, and I hope my children will be happy seeing me here.
But is it your first time seeing a real crocodile?
Yes, the first time.
Okay, so Mommy is done. Please go down a little bit for us. Go down a little. Okay. I'm just trying to dare her to do more, and I think she's also done. So see if I am I permitted to touch the tail? Okay, so hey, Charlie, that's in some way. So no, I'm okay. So well, Philip, so if you can hear me, this is the chief crocodile pond, and we're still having some great scenes. So we'll be moving from here to other parts of the country. Remember that the Red Clay Arts Center is also going to be visited later today. So Philip, it's all excitement here, but a lot of them who were in high hopes are actually scared to even come closer to it.
That's a lot of fun you are having there, and keep us updated as to where the Caravanites will be moving to, and that is Kweku Ediama and Sandra, my colleague from the City Newsroom, who is with the Caravanites on the Heritage Caravan, having fun there. Larte, just 60 seconds of your thoughts, or maybe 30 seconds.
I also envy them because it's been fun since day one, and then I don't think anyone does it better than we do here at City FM and City TV. In fact, right from Saturday, they've been having fun from Accra here to Volta region, to Eastern, to Ashanti, to Bolga.
And they are visiting a lot more regions.
And these are areas I've not even been before.
Next year you should go. Anyway, this is how we wrap up today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Larte. I did this with me, Larte. Keep watching City TV and have a great day.